Listen, you want to be here watching Guns N' Roses?
Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to GNR Central. And before we get started with today's video, I want to let you guys know that I've started to shoot videos for my second YouTube channel that's called Rock and Roll True Stories. So the link is down below. It was originally called GNR Central 2, but now I've changed it to a more meaningful name. And the first video I uploaded was the true story about the boy who inspired the Pearl Jam song Jeremy. I've got another Pearl Jam episode coming up. I've got one about Van Halen coming up. That's going to be really cool. And make sure you guys go subscribe. I'm not going to be posting as often on that channel, maybe once or twice a week, just because the true stories take more time to do. Yeah, go check it out and let me know your guys' thoughts. But let's talk about the news today about Joe Rogan, who's a pretty well-known podcaster in North America. I know some people from Europe maybe not know him as well. But he's talked a bit about GNR recently on his podcast. He talked about how he'd love to interview Axl Rose on his show. And here's the snippet from the show that showed up today. So here's what he had to say about Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses.
We hear it.
Has Axl been on your podcast, Joe?
No, I definitely have him on, man.
Wow.
I would definitely have that guy on.
I can't imagine.
He seems to have come back from the brink.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, who knows what kind of ego happened and what all happened whenever they went
Give me some volume. So he was, for years, he went crazy.
Yeah.
He vanished, was trying to make that one album forever, right? Took many, many years. And everybody's like, God damn it, Axl Rose went crazy. And you'd see him, you're like, damn, it was a shame. Guns N' Roses was so good.
So good.
And then slowly but surely, he fucking came back. Like, really came back. Like, he's fucking back. Like, that dude tours with AC/DC now.
Yeah.
I mean, he crushes it. I saw some videos of him on stage. He's a fucking animal again.
He looks like Heart a little bit, like one of the people from Heart. But that's just age and time, you know?
That's just, I don't think it's age and time. I think there's a lot of other ingredients.
Could be shrimp.
You got to throw some shit onto that mix.
Well, salt or shrimp will hide it. Yeah.
But Slash looks the same.
Oh, Slash looks the same.
But that's what I'm saying. They're both the same age.
Yeah.
They started out together. I think you're wrong. I beg to differ. Oh, he's got a teleprompter.
What about a fast dude?
Did you know Axl Rose had a teleprompter? I guess you want that if you're on all the drugs. If you want all the drugs, not only do I want a teleprompter, I want it to be highlighted what I'm supposed to say.
I mean, he's wearing hot pants, so yeah, bro, he is.
Yeah,
so close.
He's wearing hot pants with high cowboy boots with socks.
Oh, damn, dude.
And a mesh top and tidy whities.
So, what is it that makes somebody so famous that they get close to being almost like a?
But that primal fucking welcome to the jungle, dude. That was the shit. That was like right when I was graduating high school. I remember I worked out at this shitty little gym, and I'd be on the leg press machine, listen to "Welcome to the Jungle."
What kind of headphones did you have?
Whatever they had.
The big ones, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had a Walkman with a cassette.
Oh yeah.
It might have been a disc player.
You're gonna die.
That one's ridiculous. That one makes.
Oh, who is that?
Recent?
Is that Holly Hunter?
That's him now. No, it's not Holly Hunter. You son of a bitch.
I don't even know who Holly Hunter is.
Axl Rose, lead singer of Guns N' Roses.
Oh, I love Guns N' Roses.
You can tell by his comments that Joe's not really a hardcore fan of Guns N' Roses. You know, he said that Axl's wearing hot pants. He wasn't wearing hot pants. He was wearing bicycle pants. And he wasn't screwed up to the point that he needed to use a teleprompter. He just ran around stage so much that he probably got lost in the song sometimes, and the teleprompter helped. In fact, he was probably the straightest guy or the cleanest guy out of any of those band members on that Use Your Illusion tour. So this isn't the first time that Joe Rogan's talked about Axl Rose in recent memory. So he had Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins on, and Billy attended one of their arena shows back in the fall of 2017. I think they were playing a couple nights at MSG, and he was backstage and went and checked them out. And they talked a bit about Axl. So Rogan said the GNR is one of the is a fascinating one to me because Axl just went off the rails and into the woods for so long, shooting his face up with a bunch of shit and looked like he was just gone. It looked like we'd lost him. And to me, as a kid, Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle was one of my all-time favorite songs when I was 18. It was amazing. Then to see him just have this incredible success, and then Axl goes crazy. He wanted to say one of those things I really enjoyed about Axl Rose is I love comebacks. I love when somebody F's up their life and brings it back around. He later said that success stories are awesome, love them, but they're fairly commonplace. But success, complete F-up, success again, those are the stories, and those are the ones I really enjoy. He said there was some performance of Axl maybe when he was touring on his own, where he was off and he wasn't quite there yet, and now you see him live and he's effing killing it. He's turned it around. So we also have a really cool interview that went up this morning on our YouTube channel. If you guys missed it, it's been getting a really good positive reaction from people. So we sat down with a guy who worked on Chinese democracy. He was an engineer named Dave Dominguez. He worked pretty closely with Mike Klink. So you guys may not know this, but Mike Klink was involved with the early stages of Chinese democracy. It wasn't clear whether he was going to produce it or whether he was just helping out in the studio and getting things set up for the recording sessions. But he was basically involved for about 6 to 7 months from January of 1998 to August of 1998 or July of 1998. And he also was involved with recording with Slash. So just about a couple of weeks before Slash left Guns in 96, he was the engineer in the studio when Slash was recording the soundtrack for that Quentin Tarantino movie Curdled that Slash contributed 2 tracks to. So he was telling a story to us about how Slash would sleep literally 2 hours. He'd spend the day doing the movie soundtrack, and then at night he'd go to the Guns N' Roses rehearsals. And he told some stories about how he sort of knew that things were going to end with Guns N' Roses, at least Slash's involvement. He also was involved with recording Izzy and Duff back in like 1998 when they were working together in the studio. And of course, he worked on Chinese democracy for about 6 or 7 months. And he had some really cool stories. He went to some of Axl's house parties and for Halloween and his Christmas parties. He talked about what Axl was like in the studio, what kind of music the band was working on. He also was involved in the re-recording of Appetite for Destruction and also worked with Del James on the Live Era album that came out in 1999. So if you guys go to my channel, it's the latest video that's up just before this one. And it's about an hour and a half long. You guys can check it out. It's a really good interview. Yeah, I personally think one of my favorite stories he told in the interview was when he was invited to Axl's house for Halloween, and he has like 3 or 4 kids he took with him to the party, and he told his kids like don't touch anything, and then he lost one. I think he lost his son at Axl's house, and he finds his son basically in Axl's game room, and they're playing video games together, and I think they were playing like Mario Kart or something. Another cool video that went up on Tuesday was the Guns N' Roses fan club story I posted. If you guys haven't seen it. So one of the members on the GNR forums basically published some scans. I guess he used to be part of the fan club back in 1996. And it was basically a release, or at least a package they sent to some of the members back in May of 96, about 5 months before Slash left. And he just basically scanned it and showed all the photos and the different interviews they did with some of the band members and the photos they had. And they also had this cool thing where you could like have a Guns N' Roses pen pal, which I thought was kind of funny. And then they also talked a bit about future plans for the fan club, how it was being handled by somebody else, and they weren't happy with how they were handling the whole job. They also had showed a bunch of merchandise that you could buy back at the time, and they showed some photos that I had never seen of the band members. There's even a full interview with Matt Sorum as well, and there even used to be like a hotline you could call back in the day, and then you could actually hear like pre-recorded messages by some of the band members. So Loudwire has published an article outlining why the Chris Cornell tribute show that's happening tonight could possibly be one of the biggest, if not the greatest show of 2019. So one of the reasons is because of some of the bands who are playing. Metallica is going to be there, Foo Fighters are going to be there, Ryan Adams. They even talked about Jimmy Kimmel's going to be the host. I guess he's got his roots. He was a sports guy at Los Angeles' KROQ. And there's also going to be a varied, eclectic lineup of non-rock musical guests as well, including Adam Levine, Miley Cyrus, Chris Stapleton, Fiona Apple, Miguel, Ziggy Marley, and Brandi Carlile have also joined the lineup. But there's also going to be other rock musicians like Perry Farrell is going to be there. Now, this is a really strange story that came out of nowhere. So the Red Hot Chili Peppers announced they're going to be playing at Egypt's pyramids later this year. So they're literally playing a show at Egypt's iconic pyramids, and the show will take place on March 15th, and tickets will go on sale on January 18th. So they're going to be joining performers like the Grateful Dead, Sting, and Yanni by performing at the pyramids, and one of the 8 wonders of the world will welcome the Chili Peppers for a historic concert in the desert, marking the first time the Chili Peppers will have ever performed in Egypt. So the band had only visited the African continent once before, performing a pair of 2013 gigs in Johannesburg and Cape Town in South Africa. And to celebrate the upcoming show, the Chili Peppers actually released a teaser video on Facebook welcoming the announcement. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you love GNR as much as I do. Also, go check out my second YouTube channel, Rock and Roll True Stories, where we're going to cover the whole history of rock and roll. So this is really why I want to turn this channel over to you guys, and you give me suggestions for bands you'd like to see featured, whether it be early rock and roll bands like the Beatles or the Stones to current bands that are around today. I want to cover everything during that whole era because I think there's so many great stories to tell, not just in the last decade or so, but in the last 50 or 60 years. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and be sure to hit the like button. Take care.
Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!